بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين. In this Nour Al-Quran reflection series, we try to develop a connection with the Quran through both understanding and memorization. We go over the translation of some of the meanings of the verses, some of the Arabic word roots, and some of the lessons and reflections from the verses. We also try to develop a visual memory of the pages and explain some of the unique and similar verses. In this video, we will give a brief introduction of the third juz or the third chapter of the Quran. And the third juz is almost half in Surah Al-Baqarah and almost the second half in Surah Al-Imran. And in this video, we will focus more on the part that is in Surah Al-Baqarah, so we would finish it up. So in Surah Al-Baqarah, we talked about it before that it takes up the entire first two juz of the Quran, 20 pages of each, and it is part of juz 3. And it takes about 8 pages of the third juz. So this is what we will focus on here. And so the first hizb of the third juz is the first 3 quarters of that hizb are in Surah Al-Baqarah entirely, and the fourth one starts in Surah Al-Baqarah but ends in Surah Al-Imran, while the sixth hizb is entirely in Surah Al-Imran. So the quarter beginnings are Tilka Rusul, and that's the first one of the third juz, and then قول معروف ومغفرة, that's the second. ليس عليك هداهم, that's third or 19th. وإن كنتم على سفر. وإن كنتم على سفر is only one page on the right hand side in Surah Al-Baqarah and then ends in Surah Al-Imran. قل أنبئكم is the first quarter that starts in Surah Al-Imran, and that's the first beginning. And then إن الله اصطفى آدم ونوحا وآل إبراهيم, that's the second one in the sixth hizb. فلما أحس عيسى, that's number 3, and then ومن أهل الكتاب, that's the fourth one. So that's all of the quarters of the third juz. So now we're just going to go over the part from Surah Al-Baqarah, and there's just a few things that I want to point out here. So for the first quarter, Tilka Rusul, you will see that in this quarter and the next quarter, in the first 3 quarters of the third juz, you will see that the word root for spending, which is anfaqa, or the word root nafaqa, you will see that it is repeated so many times. So let's count them because they get confusing sometimes. So the first anfiqu is Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu anfiqu, and that's on the first page of the third juz. And I've color coded them, so you will see another Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu anfiqu. But this one is here in the quarter of قول معروف. So the second one is يا أيها الذين آمنوا أنفقوا من طيبات ما كسبتم, and that's the second time this is mentioned, but this time is in قول معروف, and the first time was in تلك الرسل. And then another mentioning of infaq is here مثل الذين ينفقون, and I've color coded that with green. So مثل الذين ينفقون is in the quarter of تلك الرسل. But then there's another وَمَثَلُ الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ, and you will find this one here in the quarter of قول معروف. So it starts with قول معروف, and then you will find وَمَثَلُ الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ, this time with a waw. And then the last one that also gets confusing is الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُم, and I've color coded that with purple. So this one is in the quarter of تِلْكَ الرُّسُلِ. But then the second time this is mentioned is here الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُم بِاللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ, and this time it's in the quarter of لَيْسَ عَلَيْكَ هُدَاهُم, the third one in the juz. You will also see وَمَا تُنْفِقُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ يُوَفَّ إِلَيْكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ لَا تُظْلَمُونَ. This is another time that infaq is mentioned, but it's in the middle of an ayah, so it's not as confusing as the other ones. This is where many people get confused when they're memorizing and reciting. Another word root that is mentioned here in these quarters, especially in the quarter of قول معروف ومغفرة, in this quarter we will see that صدقة, which is charity, is mentioned 3 times. So you will see that here you have infaq, but you also have صدقة. So قول معروف ومغفرة خير من الصدقة, that's the first time. And then the next آية يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تبطلوا صدقاتكم, that's the second time. And then here إن تبدوا الصدقات, that's number 3. Another theme here is that يا أيها الذين آمنوا, we've mentioned before that it is mentioned 11 times in Surah Al-Baqarah, and you will see that here in these the last 3.5 quarters, which are all in the third juz of the Quran, there's 5 of these 11. So they start here at number 7, يا أيها الذين آمنوا أنفقوا, and then the next one is يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تبطلوا. The next one is another يا أيها الذين آمنوا أنفقوا. And then you have يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وذروا ما بقي من الربا يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا تداينتم بدين. And this is the longest ayah of the whole Quran. It takes up an entire page. And it's here in this quarter of ليس عليك هداهم. Okay, so that's the first 3 quarters. This is وإن كنتم على سفر. It starts here in Surah Al-Baqarah. It takes up 1 page of Surah Al-Baqarah, and then it ends here in Surah Al-Imran. This is where قُلْ أَنَبِّئُكُمْ starts, and then إِنَّ اللَّهَ اصْطَفَى آدَمَ, then فَلَمَّا أَحَسَّ عِيسَى, and then وَمِنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ. And that's all of the third juz of the Quran.